Hello everyone, today I want to share a wood slice project with you. You can see that I've got 5 wood slices here. The ones I'm using are from Arteza. They come in a set of 45 premium wood slices. They measure approximately 3 inches in diameter. Of course they all vary. This one is about 2.5 by 3, but they're there or thereabouts. Now you can see that I've already coated 3 of the wood slices in white. I'm using gesso, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to use napkins to decorate my wood slices, and if I apply the napkin straight to the wood, it's just going to be too dark, whereas the white will neutralize it and just make the wood slices brighter as a base for me to work on. I'm going straight to the edge of the wood slice, trying not to go over the edge, just straight to the edge. I think this is the quickest and easiest way to do it. It takes literally a matter of a couple of minutes. I'm using gesso as opposed to white paint just because it dries really quickly. You could use white paint if that's all you have, but these are probably going to take 2 coats. You know, these 3 here at the top have just had 1, and I'm going to go over those with a second coat once I've finished these 2. Now these have all had 2 coats of gesso, so that's primed really well. As you can see, the edges are still nice and clean. So I'm just going to whiz off now and clean my paintbrush. Let's not waste that bit of gesso here. Let's just try and hide that knot in the centre. Really important with gesso that you go and wash your brush off straight away afterwards. Now I want to decorate all of these with a plaid napkin. Love this design. This is just one that I picked up from our local supermarket. This I do believe is 3-ply, so I'm just going to take the plies apart. Here we go, just peeling these layers off, and I want to apply a little bit of this tartan napkin to the base of each of my wood slices. So this is going to be my background. So let's take one of these, let's put these off to the side. Let's do this one first. I just want to make sure that I've got any of the loose bark off the front. Now I'm going to use matte medium. I've bought a new one of the Windsor Newton Galleria. Some of you will have noticed that I had been using the Liquitex. I don't like it as much. I much prefer the Windsor Newton Galleria. So just a little tip for you, this is my preference. You know, you might prefer the Liquitex, I don't know. So I'm applying a little bit. What have I done with my paintbrush? Oh, here it is. And I'm just going to spread the matte medium out. Now you could use watered down PVA glue if you wanted to. I just find that matte medium glues napkins well, and it's slightly less sticky, so I just find that the napkins tear less easily. So there we go, we've got some of the PVA, the matte medium on there, and I'm not going to be too picky about getting this in any particular place. I'm just going to pop the napkin down, and then using the leftover gel medium, matte medium that's on my brush, I'm just going to spread it out like this. Oh, I've managed to get the trademark on there, but hey ho, it's so tiny I don't think you'll be able to see it. Then I'm just going to take my scissors, and in fact, what's the best way to do this? Just try and twizzle this around. And I'm just going to set this off to one side to let it dry, and I'm going to apply the plaid napkin to the other 4. So let me just make sure that I've got that stuck down. It's probably easier if you cut a small piece off first, but you know, that was my first one and I didn't think to do it. Now I've hardly got any wrinkles in this, so I'm not going to do anything about it, but you could use a piece of cling film if you find that yours has got loads of wrinkles in it and that bothers you. Just use a piece of cling film and just rub it over the top, and you'll be able to iron out your creases without tearing. Just do it really gently. So I'm just going to set that off to one side and do the other 4. I'm just going to cut a piece of napkin off first. I think that might be an easier way of doing it. So we'll just trim that down first. napkins are all glued down, and I'm just going to leave the matte medium to dry now, and we'll move on to the next step. Now, all I will say is when you're gluing these down, just make sure that you only take the paintbrush to the very edge, that you're not dragging the matte medium over the side, because what you don't want is for the napkin to stick to the sides of your wood slice. I walked away for 10 or 15 minutes and allowed these to dry naturally. I have gone over them with my heat tool though as well, just to make sure that they are definitely dry, because the next step is to use an emery board just to file around the edges, just to get rid of the excess napkin. And this is the neatest and quickest way to do it, in my opinion, anyway. And you can see that it's just coming away really easily. I'm going to go off camera now and do this over my bin, just so that that's where the mess lands, rather than on my desk. These have all been filed, and you can see that they're all nice and tidy around the edges. Of course, I need to find the hole, and the easiest way to do it is to use something like one of these blending stumps, just to push through, or a pencil, just, you know, use whatever you have. So just making those holes visible. I can just about see where they are, but you can feel underneath as well. So use your finger on the underside to guide you if you need to. For instance, on this one here, I can't see it, so I know that it's there or thereabouts. So that's what we've got so far. So we need to add some focal images to make these look even more festive. I'm going to be decorating my wood slices with images from gift wrap. Just look at these, how fun these are. I've used something similar in the past a couple of years ago that wasn't Christmas themed. I got the gift wrap from a local gift store in Malvern near where I live, but I have got the details for you. And there were just dozens. I cut them all out. I've counted them actually. There are over 80. I think there's 81 designs per sheet of gift wrap. This is by a different designer. This is a dog themed one. These have all got Merry Christmas on the dogs. I mean, how cute is that? And then we've got this one here where they've all got either Santa hats or antlers on. Now, this gift wrap here is by a designer called Heather Olstead. So www.heatherolsteddesign.com. She also has her gift wrap for sale on Etsy. So that's these two sheets here. Let me just move that out of the way. These ones here are from a different designer. You can see I've written it all down. So this one here, these are called Zoo Portraits, and it's by a company called Lagom Design, lagomdesign.co.uk, and I'll leave all the details in the description box below for you. So these online are £2.10 per sheet of gift wrap, whereas the Heather Olstead ones, the two sheets that I showed you before, are £4.95 per sheet. Now, I don't know whether they dispatch overseas, but you know, certainly look on Etsy. And just for your reference, the napkin I used was called Stewart Tartan by a company called Caspari. For napkins, for any of my overseas friends, I would highly recommend Ninny's napkins. Again, I'll leave the details of Ninny's shop in the description box below, because she just has an amazing selection of napkins for you. For us here in the UK, they're 10 a penny. You can buy them in all of our major supermarkets, our garden centres, and they're very inexpensive as well on Etsy. So bring back these. What am I going to do with them? Well, I'm going to fussy cut these out. So I'm just going to take my scissors. You can see that they're not very detailed, so these are just going to take a matter of seconds for me to cut them out. So I'll go off camera and do this, and then we'll choose which ones look best on our tartan backgrounds. Cut all of my images out. These are going to look really cute, but there's one more step that I want to do before I pop these down. I'm going to be using some of my Autentico chalk wax, just because I want to lighten and brighten my backgrounds. Now, I'm hoping that my images will stick down. I'm pretty sure they will, but if they don't, then I can always add some clear gesso. But this will just lighten it for me, and I especially like this when it's added to the side sides of the wood slices. It just gives it that really festive effect. So I'm just going to pop some of this on, then I shall leave it to sit for 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, and then I shall come back and buff it off. I want to apply it to the back as well. It gives the back a really beautiful finish. It also stops or helps to stop your wood slices from cracking as well. I've been asked questions in the past as to how to stop wood slices from cracking. I ended up leaving these quite a bit longer than I said I was going to. These have probably been sat for half an hour or so. So I am just going to buff these, but just look how much that's lightened this, which was exactly what I wanted to achieve. So I'm just going to buff off the excess. I'm really happy with these. That's lightened those nicely, and I just love the detail around the outside and on the back. So the next step, let me just move those out of the way. I just want to ink around the edges of my focal images just to get rid of any white that I might have left on, and just to frame them. I just think it looks so much better when you do this. I might actually go for a slightly darker colour. I don't think that's quite dark enough. Let's try walnut stain. I think this might be better. Yeah, you see, that's better. So I'm just going to ink around the edges of all of these, and then we'll stick them down. I just need to have a think about what type of glue I want to use to stick these down on top of that wax finish. The next step is to glue these down, and I'm going to use my collal glue, very similar to 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac, so I don't think it honestly matters which one you use. So I'm going to apply the glue directly over the back of my image, and I'm just going to smooth this out with my finger just to make sure that I get the glue all the way to the very edge. So taking my pinky finger here, I tried this with art glitter glue. You want something that definitely works on multi-surfaces. It dried too quickly, it didn't work at all. So art glitter glue for this application, in my opinion, is no good. Now I want to make sure that I've got his body right at the very, very bottom. So hence I moved that down quickly when I realised my mistake. But yeah, that feels as if it's gluing really, really nicely. So we'll pop that one off to one side, and I'm going to do the same with all of these. Let's do this one next. Now that these are glued on, I'm just going to use my emery board again just to get rid of the excess away from the bottom. Here we are, coming away really nicely again. Aren't these going to look funky and cool? Now, of course, there is just one last final step, and I've just cut myself 5 lengths of the twine that was included in the box. I'd rather have it longer than I need and be able to trim it. So let me just, I think that's probably going to be about the right length, I think, to hang on my tree. So I'm just going to tie all of these, and then I'll be back. So here are my finished tree ornaments. I'm so happy with these. I think they're really fun. They're kind of vintage, retro, with a very modern vibe, I think, anyway. Beautiful for hanging on the tree. I think these would be great for teenagers to make. I think they would love these. Or even to, you know, give them one of these for their festive stockings as a stocking stuffer. Now, I will leave links to all of the materials that I used. I'll give you alternatives. I mean, for instance, I think the tartan backgrounds would work really well with the Tim Holtz Christmas ephemera packs. You could easily decorate the backgrounds with those. So, you know, at the end of the day, just use what you have. Now, I know that I also use the Autentico chalk wax. You could easily dry brush with more gesso if you need to lighten your background. Also have a look at liming wax as well, because that's quite inexpensive. But, you know, I've certainly had my money's worth from this tub here. And those of you that have followed me for a long time will have seen me use this in many, many different projects. So I am leaving the video here for today, but I hope you've enjoyed today's project. I hope it's given you some ideas and inspiration. As always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.